Hi, welcome. Welcome in. Welcome to another Monday writing session, or productivity session, or whatever work you have to get on with. I'm Adara, a paranormal, romance, and sci-fi writer. These sessions are to kickstart the week with some creativity. Today I'm going to be seeing how far I've actually gotten with this first draft of the paranormal romantic comedy, which is my first new adult novel. So I am only working on this kind of sporadically. You will mainly see me working it during these Monday writing sprints. I'm balancing multiple projects. But for now, let's see, I think we should be able to, there we go, hop into a bit more of a work environment. So I am going to have 3 timers running, so all 20-minute sessions to kickstart the week with 1 hour of productivity with 5-minute breaks in the middle. A lot of my work today is going to be reading. So I will be pulling up my document, reading how the characters are gelling, if there's things that I've forgotten that I need to bring back into the novel, to see where I can go from there in this first draft. I know it's a cardinal sin to stop and reread what you've done, but the way I work is I do these in drips and drabs. I'm going to have to go back to relook at what I've done. So, with all that being said, please let me know what you're working on in the chat if you have anything. If you're a time traveller, you are more than welcome to leave a comment. If not, lurkers, more than fine. So, I am going to pull up a book. There we go. And this is what I will be focusing on mainly. Let's actually switch to something a bit more relaxed, I think, for this time, because I'm going to do a lot of reading. There we go. More of a reading look, I think. With all that being said, I will kickstart us off in our first sprint. After this, sprints, breaks, will all be kind of signalled by a chime. And I will see you at the other side in 3, 2, 1, and sprint. And that's time. Okay. So during that time, I managed to skim read what I have so far. And with this being kind of quite sporadic as it's going, writing this thing, and I'm having to flip back a lot over what I've been doing, I've decided to try and print it out chapter by chapter. So as soon as I finish a chapter, I can print it out and shove it, like in a file or a folder somewhere. So I can just kind of read what I've got, like literally physically in front of me, instead of scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, because sometimes that can be quite harsh on the eyes. Normally, I would just get it all printed out like a first draft afterwards, spiral bound, keep it all together, that sort of a thing. But I have a bunch of manila folders that I bought for other things. Just kind of paper things, paper folders. All of different colours. And my plan was to have one for each project that I'm working on. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm just moving what I have from Scrivener to a Word document, just for a very, very quick print. I don't want to be messing around with parameters and things in Scrivener right now. I think that's a bit of a waste of time. Is this procrastination? Who knows? Or is it the start of something really, really good? So, yeah, I also, I remember last week where I left off, I was at the point in the story where I needed to come up with the name of a museum. Now, as a placeholder, I'm going to reference back to a location in Drawing Red. Kind of an Easter egg. Whether that remains, I don't know. Otherwise, I still need to come up with a fictional name of a museum. So those are my goals, I think, for the rest of this kind of session. We'll see how long it takes to print out what I have, organise it, put it in a folder. Yeah, thankfully my printer can print double-sided. That's a bonus. Hopefully it doesn't get stuck. So fingers crossed with that. So between that and coming up with the name of a museum, instead of just stealing a location from a previous series. Although that crossover, there are hints that maybe there's links between those two worlds. Who knows? I'm neither going to confirm or deny. Printing out chapter by chapter is great, especially if you use a ruler as a reading guide. Yeah, I've really been going back a lot to physical reading now. I listen a lot to, books. I read on my phone, but I've just been having this need for something physical. It also means I can hand it to someone else. So that's helpful. People who normally aren't that kind of PC literate. Yeah, it's kind of a stepping stone to revisions. And it is a good way of spotting errors. I mean, it's something like, okay, did my characters make this decision with each other? Did they make an agreement about this or not? And instead of just flicking between scenes and trying to find it, I could just, flick through the pages like, is it here? Is it here? No. Is it here? No. Is it here? No. Okay. Right, so it wasn't there. It's, I think it also feels more concrete that I am making something physical. Foglog. Yes. I hope you're feeling better. The foglog is, it's an incredible piece of work. I don't know how you can do it every week. I mean, I dropped down to making a roundup video, instead of every week, to every month. And now it appears to have dropped down to every season. I brought out my Adara vs. Winter, covering December, January and February last night. The amount of energy those things take is unreal. It's absolutely just, yeah. I'm glad that you're getting off with something, getting the teeth. I need to put my teeth back in. I'm glad that you are able to start the week and getting it off to a good start. There we go. Words. Always how to print a paper. Yeah. Oh. Here we go for another sprint. Off we go. And that's time. Well, I don't know if you can hear that or not, but I have Chapter 4 currently being printed out. That's how far I'm up to. I have another 5 chapters finished to print out as well. I accidentally printed out the first chapter without adding page numbers to the footer. So I've gone back and added those back in. So thankful that double-sided printing exists. It feels nice though to physically have something to hold for this now. Because I'm not really working on it that often, maybe about once a week. But to still see that that in itself is creating growth is something. That's the stapler. There we go. Nice. Put this away. Yeah. So I can literally see it becoming something physical in real time. And I think that's important because if you're working on something really, really slowly, then it's sometimes hard to see the progress that you're making. And there's no denying that this document now in my hands actually exists. That's a nice feeling. I think if you're not always working on like one project at the same time, it can be difficult to kind of put your finger on that progress. I mean, Drawing Red, that was my entire like project for 5 years. And so I could tell that, okay, every time I turn up, there is progress. How much progress would be quite substantial by the end of a week. I could see it in chunks. This one, not so much. It's taking me like 2 to 3 weeks to write a single chapter. Same with the Drawing Red sequel. I was coming back to it, leaving it, coming back to it again. At least that one now I have printed out and bound as well. But this one, print out the chapters myself as I go. Staple it. I'm learning. I'm adapting now to balancing multiple projects. Hello to Marilyn, who joined us in the chat. Nice to have you here. Let's see. I was explaining earlier that I need to come up with a name for a museum. And if I can't think of anything convincing by the end of this session, then I might make it a crossover with something from Drawing Red. I might use one of their locations or names as a bit of an Easter egg. Whether those worlds are linked, who knows? I'm not elaborating on that. Still thinking. Just mulling things over as I go. So I have one idea, but eh. The other thing is I keep forgetting all the names and details I'm coming up with of locations. So my novels kind of don't name anywhere real. They kind of sound like they're inspired from different places, so you can imagine those. But otherwise, I tried to come up with all of the location names myself, which can get quite difficult, and you can forget what you've come up with. That's one of the reasons I wanted these printed off like this, so I can just flip through and say, okay, well, I've used this name, this location here, that location there, because I'm coming up with so many of them. At this point, it's turning into a bit of a Scooby-Doo chase. Yeah. This novel is just unlike the others. Completely unlike the others. Okay, time to get back to work for our third and final sprint to round out this hour of productivity. See you on the other side. And that's time. Okay. I have finished everything I set out to do this session. I'm quite pleased with that. So, I set myself the challenge last week to, this week, work out the name of a museum. To do that, I ended up printing out all of the chapters I have so far for this novel, for the first draft, and then I was able to flip through and read it, and yes, I found a location, name, which I've come up with, and I have a name for a museum. Could it do with some improving? Probably, but actually no. It's meant to be the most boring name on the planet, because it's meant to be in a very boring place. So it works really well. I'm pleased I managed that, and now I have a physical folder of everything. When I said, oh, I think I'm up to chapter 9 in this novel, actually that chapter was according to the outline. And what I've realised as I'm writing it is some of those chapters can be squashed in together for pacing reasons. So in reality, although it says on my outline I'm now working on chapter 10, I'm actually writing, chapter 7 I'm in the middle of. So, did I get much writing? I wrote a sentence. But I did print off everything. And I came up with the name, which is what I set out to do. Foggy Author saying that they've almost finished the script for their fog log. I am still astonished, even though I know you've said many times that you have an outline for it, that you can produce something like that every week. No. Yeah. My roundups have fallen off a cliff. They used to be every week, then they turned into every month, and now for some reason it seems to be every season. Maybe it's just because I had so much going on. I don't know. Museo de boring. We promise to be the most boring museum on the planet, and you can quote us on that. Yeah, it's meant to be extraordinary things happening in one of the most dull, mundane places you can think of. Yeah, that kind of thing going on. I mean, so far this chase, the main kind of couple who are still enemies, they haven't had enemies to lovers just yet, with a lot of mistaken identities involved, are trying to run after a runaway ghost. And so far their kind of Scooby-Doo-esque chase has taken them to a supermarket, a pet shop, and the next stop is going to be a museum. It's very episodic. Well, that's it for me for now. I'm happy with that. I have a timetable for what I want to work on for the rest of the week to move things along. So that I'm hoping I can stick to that for once and that nothing else crops up. Brett says the fog log is only 3 minutes or so, so not too many spoons. The biggest problem is trying to keep it on a Monday. It was meant to go out yesterday, but oops, lol. I was going to say it sounded like Scooby-Doo. It is very... Yeah, I'm throwing a lot of fun stuff at this. It does feel a lot like Scooby-Doo. Do I dare say you meddling kids? Probably not. It's more of a why won't you people give up kind of a thing. Been doing research today before I can write. Research is always good. The key though is not to get trapped down a rabbit hole if you find something interesting. Yeah, that's a danger. Okay, so today was a day of Project Angel. Tuesday and Wednesday I plan on working on the next chapter of the audiobook for Drawing Red. Thursday I'm hoping to get some revisions done for Drawing Red sequel. And then Friday is hopefully a live stream over at Adara Unwinds on Twitch, which VODs are on the corresponding channel on YouTube. Yeah, that's my plan. Saturdays, I tend to then work on stream scheduling, upload those to all the social medias, and then hopefully Sunday is a day off. Oh, I hope I'm glad that you're feeling better now. 2 weeks of being unwell is pretty bad. You're going to check out Adara Unwinds. The biggest thing going on there at the moment is a Pokemon Fire Red Nuzlocke. I am terrible at Nuzlocke runs. The idea is you have to catch the first Pokemon on every route that you find. If you accidentally knock it out, you can't catch it. And then it's kind of, you have to play through the game where if your Pokemon faints, it's classed as dead and you can't use it anymore. Think Pokemon but on hard mode. You would think for all the years I've played it, I would have eventually finished one, but no. No, I'm too impatient. Yeah, Pokemon Fire Red is the current one. I got it for Switch. So, yeah, I think the last session I did, yeah, Friday, 7 o'clock, that's when I streamed the Nuzlocke. Gotta catch the first one, gotta catch them all. Yeah, Nuzlocke rules, you can only catch the first encounter on a route. I am playing with the dupes clause though, so if I've already got that Pokemon, I can kind of get the second one or the third one if I don't already have it. Also shiny clause, so I can catch a Pokemon if it's a shiny. The amount of grinding I'm having to do to get these levels up. Surely I'll come across a shiny before the end of the game at this rate. So yeah, I'm living dangerously. I've taught Vtuber self-destruct. One wrong move and he's out of the game, but I figured if the game was going south, if I was going to lose all my Pokemon, then I would go out with a bang. I'm at Celadon City at the moment, and oof, yeah, I'm amazed I've gotten that far after what I'm calling the Misty Massacre. I'm going to leave it there. More on that on Friday night, 7 o'clock. Or normally I have the VOD then up on YouTube within 24 hours. I hope I do. It has been, what, well over 20 years and I have never completed a Nuzlocke challenge. We'll see. Right, that's it for me. I will probably be lurking in other people's streams over the rest of the week, or at least Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'll see you there. Thanks for coming. Bye.